Hi everyone, it's Jordan from Beagle Rampant Productions, and what you're looking at right now is footage of us heading to southeastern Kentucky for my grandmother's funeral. This is the same grandmother that we visited in Mississippi a couple of times, and she recently passed away, and she wanted to have her services in southeastern Kentucky where she grew up, so I'm doing a little voiceover vlog, a tribute sort of thing in honor and respect of my grandmother. So we'll take a look at some of the footage we have during our visit to southeastern Kentucky. And right here is an interesting restaurant we stopped at called Fazolis. So back 20 years ago or so, there were plenty of Fazolis locations within the I-275 loop in the Cincinnati area, but as time went on, pretty much all of them have closed near us, so we don't really have a chance to go to Fazolis at all anymore. I believe the company might be based in Lexington, but, and another interesting thing, I forget the name of this highway, I even forget where this particular Fazolis location is, but, you can see that the traffic lights have two red lights on the top there, and I think part of the reason of that is to make it more visible, and if one of the red lights burns out, it saves a little bit of cost because you still have a backup there. But inside the Fazolis restaurant, Fazolis is fast Italian food, which is a very interesting sort of mix there, but you got self-serve kiosks, and they weren't working when we visited, so you had to go up to the cashier. Service was really friendly, and I noticed they redesigned Fazolis quite a bit from what it was 20 years ago. From 20 years ago, it was kind of just a standard corpo cookie-cutter sort of restaurant, but here they really are doing a nice job with the design, and yes, unlimited breadsticks if you dine in. If you dine in, you get unlimited breadsticks, and as you can see, I'm enjoying some spaghetti, but enjoy's not really that good of a word. Squeak-Doo had some fettuccine alfredo. Those are the unlimited breadsticks. I did like this Fazoli's Italian ice drink. That was really good. That was kind of the highlight of the experience. Dad's chowing down on a meatball sub there, and Mom's enjoying some pizza, and pretty much everyone thought the food was better than how they remembered it, except for me, who thinks that the food is exactly how I remembered it, and that ain't too good there. And now what you're looking at is some footage of the camp trail at Cumberland Falls. So where my grandmother was having her funeral service was right near Cumberland Falls, and we plugged the address for Cumberland Falls into our GPS, and it sent us here. So this isn't the actual waterfall. You notice there's no waterfall here. This is actually kind of the lodge area, and she redirected us half a mile down the road on the right-hand side to see this wonder, Cumberland Falls. This is the only place in the Western Hemisphere where you can see a moonbow, kind of like a rainbow at nighttime. The light of the moon reflects through sort of the mist there, and it's apparently a really cool phenomenon, but the conditions have to be perfect, and they were not perfect to see the moonbow for our trip here. But beautiful waterfall, absolutely lovely and peaceful sort of thing. It is kind of nice to see some really nice natural beauty before going to my grandmother's funeral, so I really appreciated our little stop to Cumberland Falls. And right here is a big old igneous rock. You gotta have your igneous rock, and there's all sorts of fun little things to do kind of around the Cumberland Falls area. The tower there is sort of like a kid's play area, like find gemstones or something. I wasn't sure exactly how you did it or anything like that, but you can definitely do that. And that one little shack is restrooms. I don't know why I panned away from it real quickly. And there's a tool shed, and you can also rent some things to go on the falls to do some kayaking and rowboating. And we have some very nice gift shops along Cumberland Falls. I didn't find anything too interesting to actually purchase in the gift shops, so didn't really do too much in the way of shopping there. And we have a historical marker indicating that, yes, this is indeed the only place in the Western Hemisphere where you can see the moonbow. And again, guys, I gotta apologize. My camera work is particularly bad on this vlog. You know, I had some emotional things going through my head right now, so my vlogging maybe ain't quite up to snuff here. And another thing that was not up to snuff was the Hampton Inn in London, Kentucky. So you can buy some snacks in the main lobby at the Hampton Inn in London, Kentucky, and compared to the Hampton Inn we stayed at in Tupelo, you can already see the design isn't there. There's nothing really glaringly wrong with the design, it's just really bland and uninspired. It's really, really small, and they messed up our room reservation. We specifically asked for a room that sleeps 5. We needed some extra space. We were bringing in some funeral clothes and stuff, and you can see they gave us an absolutely tiny room, and it was not a very clean room. I'll leave that to your imagination, what was not clean about it, but there were a lot of problems with our room and then messing up the reservation. Of course, you do get your free hot breakfast at the Hampton Inn, and the breakfast was, is alright. You can get your pancakes and your omelets. There was one day where the omelet did not have meat, and another day where it did, so that was kind of confusing, and a happy breakfast starts here. I mean, considering the circumstances, we weren't there for a happy occasion at all, and yeah, I've had worse breakfasts. I've certainly had better breakfasts. Yeah, you could leave tips, and I did leave some tips, because the staff is really good at this Hampton Inn. It's just, in terms of cleanliness and organization and logistics, they had quite a few problems. And of course, it's not really a stay at the Hampton Inn if you're not making a nice, gooey waffle with the waffle maker. So overall, our stay at the Hampton Inn in London, Kentucky had a lot of problems, but the staff and the corporate team after the fact has been really good at helping us get through a lot of that. So that's a plus in their book. And what you're looking at right now is the South Chapel of the Britton Funeral Home in Manchester, Kentucky. And I just got to give a shout out to the Britton Funeral Home, to Pastor Todd Hicks, and the Oneida Community Church for giving my grandmother the service that she really wanted, and it was the service that our family really needed to hear at this juncture. So it was everything that my grandmother would have wished for, and they nailed it, giving my grandmother everything that she would have liked. And I just gotta say, the decoration in the Britton Funeral Home is kind of like my grandmother, bold, unapologetic, and really difficult to fully comprehend. You see in the display cases here, okay, yeah, you got some Bibles, and you have some pretty nice artwork of Jesus feeding his flock, but they're just like calendars and paper fans. Why is it behind a display case? And here, though, you have wonderfully carved boxes and paintings, and it's just so interesting. To say it's eclectic would be a bit of an understatement of the design at the Britton Funeral Home, but I love it. There's a telephone directory inside a display case that makes absolutely no sense, and I love it because it's bold and unapologetic. So there's passion, and that was something my grandmother always had. She was always really passionate, and she loved birds, and there's tons of birds in the funeral home here, so that was really nice. Like, they gave my grandmother the send-off she always would have wanted, and like, antique cars just in display cases along with fine porcelain china. It's so crazy. It is also interesting, though, that they didn't cover up the mirrors. A lot of funeral homes, though, don't cover up mirrors, which is weird, because there are old superstitions that you gotta cover up the mirrors when you are saying a funeral service. Of course, I'm going to find the globe, and of course I'm going to notice you're missing South Sudan. They were independent since 2011 there. But they do have East Timor on the globe, and they were independent, I think 2002 was their independence, so props there. And of course, birds and a really nice ceramic plate there, so it's just everything my grandma could have wanted. And I really love this oriental cabinet. Like, this right here is like legit museum quality piece there. Like you saw in Salem, we had a lot of pieces like that. And the koala bear care station is kind of right when you come in the door, right next to the coat rack. It's just so interesting. Like, that's such a weird place to put the koala bear care station, but they did such a good job, and I'm so thankful to the Oneida Community Church, to Pastor Todd Hicks, and to the Britton Funeral Home. And right here is where my grandmother is having her final rest, the Squire Hensley Cemetery in Oneida, Kentucky. Getting to the cemetery is a little bit tricky, though. There's a very small bridge that doesn't have any guardrails on the side, and it can only fit one car at a time, but overall, though, the Squire Hensley Cemetery, it's a very beautiful place, and it's where my grandmother always wanted her final rest. It's not technically our family graveyard, but about 80% of the people buried here are our relatives. Rest in Beulah land, Mamaw. We love you, and we miss you. And what you're looking at now is actually the same footage you saw earlier, because I needed a transition to go from laying my grandmother to her final rest to an interesting experience we had on the way back visiting Bucky's, the Roman Empire of gas stations. There are over 200 gas pumps at Bucky's, and it's a kind of small and independent operation. I don't think they have a corporate board or anything like that. They're open 24 hours a day. They are world famous for their customer service and their immaculately clean restrooms. And you walk into Bucky's and people have shopping carts, and it's absolutely overwhelming. I believe this is in Richmond, Kentucky. I don't think there are too many Bucky's locations further north than Richmond, but look at all of the souvenirs you can buy. This is a legit store, and it's perfect if you were going to do some, like, camping in the Cumberland Falls area or anything like that. Like, you have so many souvenir options, and you can get ready for a weekend to hang out and do some hiking or whatever. And I think over to the left you can get a bikini themed after Bucky's, and this, of course, is a perfect selfie opportunity. They say do it for the gram. You're visiting Bucky's for the gram, and you can get, at all hours of the night, you can get jerky, you can get pastries, burritos, tacos, and everyone is so friendly and really hospitable, and the restrooms are absolutely perfect. So thank you guys so much for watching and for sharing this journey with me. So it's been difficult losing my grandmother, and thank you just for sharing this journey with me. Grandma, I love you and I miss you. Thank you so much to the people of Oneida Community Church and Pastor Todd Hicks and the Britton Funeral Home. You guys gave Grandma the service she deserved. May her soul and the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen.